When you look at the cell and gene therapy field, there's an increasing focus on actually overcoming manufacturing hurdles. What are you doing differently?
You know, one of the things with these gene therapies, first, is they're incredible medical advances, but they're also very advanced technologies, difficult to make. What we've been able to do is expand our manufacturing footprint. We've just announced an opening of yet another facility in Colorado. So now what we have is scaled manufacturing for cell and gene therapies all around the world. We're able to process human cells in Asia, in Europe, in the United States. We're scaling up our gene therapies with our Avexis platform. So we feel very good now that we're going to be able to meet the demand in the years to come.
Is there a worry about how many patients will actually have access to these given the price tag?
You know, one of the things we've seen is a lot of support. So first, with our cancer medicine, Kymriah, we've seen 18, actually now 20 markets reimburse the medicine, which shows that it provides tremendous value because in many cases we can bring almost a cure to these patients for their cancers. In the case of our SMA medicine, Zolgensma, 99% of patients in the United States have been fully reimbursed, again showing that insurers are finding the value is there with this kind of transformational therapy.
When can they be financially successful? And will that actually mean that many more patients will have access to these?
You know, I take a long-term view. I believe cell and gene therapies will be the next wave of innovation in our industry. We'll have many of these over the next decade. And we wanted to build a leading position in both of them. So that's what we've endeavored to do. We believe in both cases we'll start to generate very positive returns in the near term. And I think in the longer term, we hope to build an entire portfolio. And our aspiration very much is to bring these to patients everywhere in the world.
In your recent Capital Markets Day, so you've highlighted emerging assets. Out of the ones that you highlighted, what do you think are the ones that are most promising?
You know, there's a few. We're very excited about tackling cardiovascular disease at scale. Last week, we announced an exciting partnership with the UK government with one new medicine that we're bringing on board to tackle cholesterol. It's a vaccine-like approach with a medicine called inclisiran. It's really exciting. We hope we can tackle cholesterol at scale all around the world. Another exciting medicine is a medicine called LNP. This is for a whole set of kidney diseases. This would be a first advance for these patients. So we have, I think, a pretty unique, robust portfolio. The stat to remember is we have 165 projects that we have in clinical development. That gives us the replacement power to really ensure we can grow in the long term.
Talk to me about Sandoz, the generics unit. So you've talked about reshaping it or overhauling it. What are your plans right now?
So Sandoz is one of the largest generics manufacturers in the world, and we've brought it back to growth. So it's growing well. We see sales growth. We see good profitability. Our plan right now is to separate Sandoz within Novartis, make it a standalone unit, but give it the resources it needs to build a leading global position. We're very committed to it as a generics unit within the Novartis group of companies. It's a challenging market, but we're optimistic with the new leadership team we can be successful.
But will it make sense in 5-10 years to still have such a big generics arm?
You know, I don't know how the world's going to look, you know, in 5 to 10 years, but what I know right now is having a position where we're one of the largest high-quality generic producers in the world matters. In a number of countries, there have been shortages because of the issues with quality. In those situations, we could step in with high-quality generics, so we feel good with where we are.
Evidence of drug waste has been found in waterways and rivers and streams. Regulators actually have different guidance in some case on how to dispose of some of these medicine. What are you working on to make sure that actually some of these drugs don't end up where they shouldn't?
Well, first, I'd love to take a step back. We've made a broader environmental commitment. We've committed, and as you know in Davos, a huge topic is sustainability and nature. We've committed in our own operations to be carbon neutral by 2025, and in our third-party operations by 2030. Moreover, we've actually signed up for annual targets, which will be published and will be part of my compensation and my executive team's compensation. So not just talk, we want to show every year we're going to tackle it. Alongside that, we've also committed to ensure that we have water neutrality and that our effluents meet the highest standards also by 2025. In general, we think we're in a pretty good place in really managing waste coming out of our facilities entering waterways.
But it's the regulators in certain cases, right? Sometimes they say to flush the drugs you don't use down the toilet. So are you in constant communication with these regulators around the world?
So I think one of the challenges is how patients, of course, dispose with medicines. And I think that's what you're raising. That is a broader conversation we need to have with both the medical community and with regulators, absolutely.